Hey guys, Colleen Wynia here, ColleenWynia.com. I'm a vibrational energy coach, a spiritual intuitive, and holistic health educator. And I've been touched deeply by loss of many loved ones who have died through disease-related experiences, addiction-related experiences, and so on. And as a result of that, I am very passionate about helping you, helping my folks, helping my customers, helping my friends around the world in disease prevention, and helping them through the when they've lost loved ones and they're wondering, like, are they still alive? Am I going crazy? I feel them around me, right? So it's kind of like, it's really touched my heart, having lost so many loved ones, that I'm feeling drawn today to just share something with you that happened to me this weekend, because that's what I do. I live through it, I share it, I see my clients go through it, I share it. If there's any way I can do to help you guys, I want to be able to do that for you, right? So I see some people popping on. It's actually a little later than I've ever really recorded. Normally I do it a little bit earlier, but let's talk about it. So let's just dive right in. If you're dealing with, hi Erica, if you're dealing with, great, thanks for being here. If you have lost someone in your life, the first thing and foremost is there's this grieving experience that goes on. And for me, in my past, before I really got into even looking at prevention right off the bat, I was in the midst, I was in the loss. I lost my cousin. He was diagnosed with cancer at 25, and he was, it was a long journey, but it was malignant melanoma, skin cancer, and after 2.5 years, he transitioned. But before that, through the middle of it, my dad found out he had cancer, and his journey was about 9 months along. And then he passed, and then Rob passed. So this was a huge beginning for me of losing loved ones, and it completely opened my mind. I tried to reach out to the boys and say, hey, I found some natural supplementation, I found some natural ideas, would you do a cleanse, all these things. But they were at their journey, their soul's journey, and they wanted to just do it the way they wanted to do, which was follow medical, medical journey. Unfortunately, we lost them, and I was like, wow, what happens when you die? I'd always wondered, like, we're human, we're spiritual beings and human flesh, and I heard something on the radio the other day saying 10 out of 10 of us are going to die one day. Well, meaning our flesh, right? Because I believe and know that our soul lives on. I really do believe it. I've experienced it, having lost my loved ones over 20 years ago, and many in between in these last terms. I feel them, I sense them, I know they're here. And so what's happened for me is, this is kind of like a controversial experience. 10 years ago when I started talking about this, it was like, what? Really? Am I going nuts? Is this really happening? But what's happening, guys, is the veil is thinning. The veil between what some people might perceive as, heaven, earth, or the afterlife and this life, or that world and this world. Really, guys, we are multi-dimensional beings, and this is one place. But you know what? It doesn't matter. When you're grieving and when you're going through a hard time, you could be talking to someone till you're blue in the face about prevention and detoxification. But, if they're in their pain, they're in their health dilemma, they may not be able to hear you. So we want to, I want to help people, help my clients, help them before they get sick. I want to help them when they're dealing with an addiction, before they take their life. Like Robin Williams, he just, you think this amazing guy who's got all these, going on in the world, and he's just so loved and funny and, masterful and successful and has the money and everything. No, he's sad, he's hurting, he's in pain, right? So again, this is all about prevention on the inside, and then, dealing with grief and loss. But I want you to know about this weekend. So I do this, I share, I educate, And I want you to scroll down at the bottom before you leave this video and go to the bottom. There are 2 links. One link is going to bring you to one of my most popular blogs, and it is a blog I wrote about my dad, a very short blog about 6 years ago, and it's got picked up and people leave comments. So if you have a story of your loss or you're questioning about the afterlife, and if moving objects are happening to you or sensations or smells, please leave your comment there below. Also, if you want more videos that are connected to my spiritual education, we'll call it the YouTube playlist. I actually got them in a playlist, so you can go there and link below. So here's what happened to me this weekend. I lost one of the persons that transitioned in my world. Was one of my first boyfriends. Just love him. I was so in love with him, and we were together about 3 years. Totally thought we were going to be together. His sister, I thought was going to be my sister. She was like my sister already then. And however, this was, oh my gosh, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago now. And he's often on my mind. I often pick up little signs of him. But why on earth, after 20 years, do I get woken up out of a deep sleep? It was just kind of drifting off, and dream state is when our loved ones can connect with us. So this video was, I was technically going to say in the beginning, I was going to talk about 3 common ways that our loved ones love to connect with us. One of them is dream state. One of them is moving objects. And what's the other one? Oh, electricity occurrences. Little cheat sheet over here. So those are my 3 top ways. There's many ways, but dream state is a really easy way for them to access us, for our angels or our loved ones in spirit to kind of connect with us. And why that is, guys, is because we're relaxed. We're in a open state, like a meditation, like when we slow down the anxiety of the do and we actually calm, right? So we're in an open, receptive state, and we can connect with the the other side. It's not really the other side, but it seems like the other side, because we sometimes don't know what to call it. But I was like just falling asleep over the weekend, woken him to this big state, and it was weird because it was a dream I was in a dream. And in the dream, I was dreaming. You guys have ever had that? I'm in the dream, and in the dream, I was dreaming. And does that make sense? And I was dreaming that Sean was there and coming towards me. And then when I was in my dream, I sensed him coming to the door. And sure enough, the door opened, and there he was. And it was like he was alive. And that's what these dreams are like. The dreams of our loved ones in spirit are actually set up like that, because the truth is we're actually dating them, we're visiting them, we're having lunch with them. So if you've ever had an experience like that where you have a dream of your loved one, and it could be right after they pass over, it could even be before when they're sick, or it could be 20 years later, right? So there's no time frame when it comes to this afterlife stuff. That kind of time linear experience that we deal in the 3D world, that is ours, okay? The 3D world. That's not the way I believe it is for them when they transition back into their soul, because our soul is infinite. Our soul is consciousness that never dies. Dr. Wayne Dyer talks a lot about that. Now he's transitioned, and I know he's affected the world before he passed away, and he's affected a lot more people in a positive light ever since he's been away. So if you know Wayne Dyer, drop Wayne Dyer. I just love him. I've got a collection of books. So that was one of the things, and the dream was really moving. The dream was kind of important to me. Won't go into the details of it, but just to know that I was actually shocked. Even though I am an educator of this, I was like, why after 20 years? And I was very moved. I was very emotional. I've never been touched this deeply by this past boyfriend of mine, and I get a sense of what he wanted to share with me, but I don't have all the information yet. So it's just like grieving. Things take time. Information takes time. Sometimes you get it right away, and sometimes you need to give yourself space. So I was very almost kind of messed up over the weekend. I was very emotional and I couldn't put my finger on it. So what I was guided to do was I had to go through it. I had to feel my way through it. By Monday, of course, it was weird. I felt so much better, so much more me, so much more connected. And I thought maybe it's astrological, maybe it's, you know, deep-seated trauma. I was healing, but it doesn't, you know, regardless of what it was, the mind wanted to know. The heart knew I was hurting. I was crying. I was happy crying. Does that make sense? I was happy, sad, crying. It was, so I worked through it by feeling my way, being in it, not running away from it too much. I mean, don't really want to stay in that place. Who does? But I was able to master it, sort of speaking, or dissolve it, transform it, you know, by being in it. So hook me up on, reach out to me on that one. That's a whole nother teaching that I do to help people transmute old belief systems and transmute their pain, okay? But dreams are number one, most popular. Most of my clients and followers talk to me about dream state. Number two is moving objects. Gosh, I have a lot of videos on moving objects. You can see in my voice, I get a little more excited even when I talk about moving objects, because for me, it's a hugely common experience. Hugely common in terms of moving objects. And in that place, many different things can happen. And when I first started talking about moving objects of loved ones who've transitioned, or, you know, spirit signs, or maybe, you know, is it angels or whatever it is, I've always known for me, it's been mostly my spirit family. And in that place, some of the really cool things that might happen can be like, oh geez, there's just so many of them, but we'll let's see, which one should I share with you? Actually, just this weekend, okay? Fresh one here for you. So in my mind, I was thinking about a folder that I had in my bookshelf. My bookshelf's just over here. And this black folder had some 8x10 pieces of paper that was, anyone ever done mapping, mind mapping? Like vision boards, but like mind mapping. So I have over time developed a few mind mapping pages on business success, on my health, on you know, things I want to experience, and so I had just gone through some documents and found a few of my mind maps and realized, let's transfer them, let's put them over here. It was just, I'm not kidding you guys, it was a simple thought. You know how you talk about the power of the mind? Right? The power of the mind. It was a simple thought. Let's transfer these documents to this folder. And within a very split period of time, I go out in the hallway, I walk along and I look up, and in my bookcase over there, this folder is jotted out. It's stuck out. You know how books are, you know, lined up? It's like stuck right out like this. I took some pictures of it. I'll have to like post them and share them, but it was just stuck right out like, here you go, Colleen. You wanted this folder? Here you go. Oh, you weren't sure if you were gonna like put them in there? Here you go, right? So it was like spirit was prompting me along. So moving objects, that happens very commonly. If you go down below again, there's 2 links down below. And one of my most popular blogs on my main website, it actually has, you guys, a link to other people all around the world who are getting these kinds of experiences. So have a peek, visit the link, and please share your contribution if you're having an experience like this. But what is really ramped up, and I'd love to get your feedback on it, if anyone wants to share with me privately, if it's a little bit of a controversial subject, to pop in a chat, I get it. It's huge sometimes for me to talk about this subject matter because I'm still getting comfortable around it, even after 20 years. But guess what? Not only are things like moving objects happening, but people are leaving a room, coming into a room, and there's an object or a disappearing watch and a reappearing watch. I've got videos all on my family members going through this. But what is really happening now, and I'm just amazed, is people are seeing moving objects before their eyes. And I don't just mean a book falling from the shelf, like my good friend Diane Hume, who had just watched a video to do with me talking about the subject matter, and her doing an interview with me, and her having lost one of her dearest beloved coaches, who got her, helping her be the woman that she is professionally, stand up and thrive, who passed over. But this picture of her and I, and this book that the teacher, educated her friend, fell from her bookshelf. Yes, that happens all the time. But I'm talking about people who are seeing objects hovering, shoes, things, moving things. It's very, very crazy. So that was a really simple moving object this weekend, and I've got big stories that air before that. And then thirdly, electricity. This is always a fun one for you guys. So electricity is a really, really great one, because it's most loved ones who are highly electric, energetic, like my cousin Rob was and is, who'd passed over at 27. He was the kind of guy that was like loved to ski, loved to dance. He could like rap dance like crazy. He loved to sing. He loved music. He loved to use his voice. He was very dynamic, and even his body, he would jump around and move around. So he's always primarily communicated with me through electricity. Okay, so one example for you is there's a video on this on my playlist, my spirit education playlist on YouTube, and it's really about old-fashioned clock radio. And it's this clock radio where I woke up in the morning and bam, the radio station volume was up high one morning, and naturally my human mind said, oh, guess I bumped the volume button. Turned the volume button down, went back to sleep. Next morning, I'm living alone. Wake up, the volume's up again. This happened 3 days in a row. Fourth day, I'm starting to kind of question, but I'm not a full believer yet. Fourth morning, what sounded like a Chinese radio station came on. No, excuse my, no, and I started rip roar laughter. I knew it was finally real. I knew I believed it. I knew it was Rob. It was a sensation. And I started to embrace this experience. So you do that, and you start to look around you, and it helps you heal, because you start to feel the presence of your loved one. Like one of my clients, when her poor son was tragically hit with a truck on grad night, stepping out of the van, dressed in the beautiful prom outfits, right before the eyes of his girlfriend, his life was taken. That changed her life, we can just tell you now. But these are the kind of things that when we can feel our loved one, it helps us ease the grief. It helps us move through the grief, sometimes a lot faster, and it helps us give us space to grieve. So in closing on that, when I asked who would have been my sister one day if Sean and I had stayed together, I asked her the date of when she was, when Sean had transitioned, because I couldn't quite remember the date. And she said to this day that her and her husband, that they actually, they kind of wake up, 2:23 in the morning, which is estimated around the time when Sean would have transitioned, and they smell coffee, toast, and cigarettes. Yeah, I'm not a smoker. He was, but coffee, toast, and cigarettes. That makes total sense, because that would have been something that he went to. So have an open mind. Know that you're not losing it. Understand that there is a veil that is lifting, and bring this all back to disease prevention, addiction, reduction, helping people through grieving experiences in their lives in the here and now. We want to get people in the here and now. That's why I'm taking a stand. I actually held back. I didn't feel like talking about this subject matter tonight. I didn't feel like doing a live video. I wanted to not, and something inside of me, I could hear Mel Robbins. Anyone know Mel Robbins? Google Mel Robbins. Holy frickin' moly. She's the woman that, for the 5-second rule, that got her out of depression, anxiety, by counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, getting out of bed. She's a remarkable human being, as are you. So thanks for watching. Check out the links below. Reach out to me if you like a private consultation. Ask me for my 8 steps to raise your vibration business guide. And I would be absolutely honored to be in your world, to support you through this, or to support others that you know that are grieving and have been through a difficulty, and they're questioning and they're really going, is this sensation that my loved one is around me real? Or is this like a bunch of made up baloney? Well, I'm going to tell you, you just look at the evidence and you trust yourself wholeheartedly. And it took me over 20 years to get here, but I help my clients through the grief, through the loss, to trust themselves and to switch over to disease prevention through natural supplementation and healthy living solutions. So have an amazing day. Energy coach, woo, holistic educator, signing off for you tonight. Wish you an amazing evening. Much love, guys. Take care.